to go. Thanks for bearing with us. We've got a lot of people in here. I actually didn't expect this many people. It's like the middle of the day here in Sydney, and you are all here with us because let's be honest, the world's fucked. The world's ending. Let's be honest about it. We may do more of these streams. What we're going to talk about today is a few things that you've put together, which I found was awesome. It's one being Palaszczuk resigning from Queensland. We're going to talk about all the leaders that are left out of the pandemic, all the people that were fear mongering, saying, get the jab, put your mask on, and so on and so forth. All these leaders are gone. It's like one left. So we're going to talk about that. And we are also going to let you know where they've gone to. So these leaders, what's annoying, what I find annoying, right, is that these politicians, they get to a stage of power. They put through these things that they're told to put through, like puppeteers. And then they go on and get these cushy jobs. Like Berejiklian, she's gone to Optus, and Optus has never been worse. It's like she moved on from her shit position to destroy instead of the state. She's gone on to destroy one of the major telcos. And that's a big issue. A big issue is that these people go on to get these $500 to $1 million paying jobs. Like Barilaro, Barilaro, is that his name? What was
John Barilaro.
John Barilaro? He was going to go to New York for $1.2 million position. And that's outrageous. So I will let you know exactly where these people are. And yeah, cheers for sitting through the audio issue and just going through these comments. I like. Don't forget to smash a thumbs up. Straight up, hooks the gram. Don't forget to smash a thumbs up. Make sure you sub to the channel. Yeah, you're doing well on your work, bro. Do you want to say anything before we get started, or
no? Let's just go straight into it. I reckon we go from the digital ID. We'll start with that first.
Zionism is the greatest threat to human civilization. Faces like microscopic, parasitic, brain-eating amobus. What's that last word? Amobus?
Amobus. I don't know.
I don't know what that is.
Let's.
Do you know the beautiful thing is that we can find out this together real quick. Amobus. Oh, it's like a parasite.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Brain parasite.
All right, let's get straight into it, eh? Shared you out listening from the Garden of Whedon. Yo, if you guys do have socials, share this out with all your friends. Let's get some more of you in there. The numbers keep rising, and it's awesome. We're in the middle of the day. It's outrageous. And thank you for going through, sitting through the technical difficulties. But let's get right into it. I reckon we get straight into it. You want to break down? So be ready for information on an action plan. So you tweeted this, right? Labor signed an UNDRIP today. Labor presents digital ID tomorrow. So it's happening. Digital ID is coming.
Yeah, so this is happening. This was tabled about a week and a half ago. If we scroll down, you can probably see the date of the post. So this was Senator Katie Gallagher announcing that UNDRIP was going to be not UNDRIP. UNDRIP was already tabled. Digital ID was going to be tabled in the Senate, and we've got the video. So we're going to go through and break down everything that's happened. So the digital ID bill was presented in the Senate for, I think it was a second reading, and we've got the video coming up of Katie Gallagher sort of talking about her thoughts on her trying to defend it. She came out and said that it wasn't a government conspiracy, that it wasn't going to steal your identity, it wasn't going to steal your information.
Filthy whore.
and then after that, Matt Canavan had come out and basically curb stomped her because her post that she put up on Twitter got fact checked with a community note, and he calls her out as well because she says that that digital ID has nothing to do with digital ID, but it's in the name of the bill. It's a digital ID bill. So it's a very funny sequence of events. As bad as the topic and as annoying and somber as the matter is, we sort of got to take the piss out of it as it goes. But yeah, let's watch this because this is the tabling of the digital ID bill in the Senate last week.
And hopefully you guys can
And I cannot believe that those opposite are going to side with people who are going to pretend this bill is a whole range of things that it absolutely isn't. So when they say it's mandatory, it's not. It's an important economic reform that needs to happen, and it needs to be done quickly so that we can respond to Optus and Medibank, where people's documents have been taken and have been misused, and their privacy and their control over those documents has been abused. Please support the government's position, which is for a committee inquiry to report by the end of February.
So what do you reckon, like, why do you think these parasitic, insane, alien-looking things want this to go through? Like, because they're living in society as well. Like this fish and chip loving cow just suddenly just wants an entire
Well,
digital
that's what
ID
I think
system to
about.
come through.
I don't think about them putting it through because these people aren't going to actually live through this. They've got children. A lot of these people are married. They have families. They've probably got grandkids, some of them,
100%.
and they're going to grow up in the dystopia that their parents are creating for them.
That's what I don't get. That trips me out. I don't understand that. Like, first of all, I don't understand what she was thinking wearing that fluffy shirt. That's the first thing. Second thing is, like, doesn't she know that her grandchildren are gonna be like, "Oh, well, grandma sold us out."
Yeah, imagine your son or daughter, they go to that website where it says what that person voted for, and they type in Katie Gallagher, you type in your mum or your grandmum's name, and it says she voted yes for digital ID, and you're wondering why you're at the store and you can't purchase anything, or you can't jump on a train when your social credit score is not good enough, and it's like, "Mum, hey, 25 years ago, you sold us down fucking shit creek. What's going on here? And you couldn't chop us out to get us a better credit score."
You all right.
But that's really the real things that I don't think they think about. Like,
Mm,
and it's such a dumb example, but it's a real thing that can happen.
mm. What do we got here? Peter Grace, me guide, and the Muppet thinks she's beautiful. I don't like going too much at looks, but if looks could kill, they are benefiting. Oh, there you go. They're benefiting. So you reckon she's benefiting? Like, do you reckon
Yeah.
she's getting something where she can protect their children? But I think over a period, like over lifetime, that gets drowned out. So, for example, if you've got your next generation protected or your generation after that, it's only a matter of time before that, drowns itself out, and then the grandchildren's children's are fucked.
Yeah, it'll get it, so that won't pass down, that's for one. It'll definitely drown out, but not only that, over the next, say, 4, 5, 6 years while they're in positions of power,
Mm,
they're sure to stuff up,
mm.
and once they stuff up, they'll get backstabbed straight away. They'll lose all of their benefits, they'll lose their right of veto to be able to have that future um, that was promised to them. All of that will get taken away from them. So I can't foresee these people really thinking that they're going to benefit from having some sort of protections in the future. But it is what it is. Let's go and see what Matt Canavan had to say about it because this was hilarious. Matt Canavan is really on the ball with regards to social media. So he knew Like, I actually put it out there and I said, I hope Malcolm Roberts calls it out. The fact that Katie Gallagher got fact checked on Twitter, but Canavan got ahead of him. But yeah, let's check it out because this was sweet poetic justice.
Thank you, Madam Acting Deputy President. Well, the government's already been found out spreading misinformation about its digital ID bill. Last week, the minister in this place claimed that their bill had nothing to do with a digital identity, when in fact the bill is called, their own bill, it's called the Digital ID Bill 2023. It's in the title. I think it might have something to do with digital ID. The minister followed up on the weekend. Minister Katie Gallagher followed up on Twitter, or X now. She said that digital ID is not compulsory. It's a voluntary, secure and convenient way for you to access online services safely without having your personal documents stored by third parties. Well, she's failed again and has been now revealed of spreading more misinformation, because Community Notes, readers on X, have put a note up. It's been accepted by X, saying that the minister might be wrong here, because labelling digital ID as voluntary can be misleading if it becomes implicit requirement for essential services. They're exactly right, because whatever the government says about their bill being voluntary, do you remember when they said the vaccine would be voluntary? Indeed, some people today still claim that no one was ever made to get a vaccine. You didn't need to have a job. You didn't need to go and eat out. You could have just got the vaccine instead. It was your choice to get the vaccine. I remember that. They all said it was voluntary. Well, now they're saying a digital ID is voluntary. You should be very careful about the weasel words used by politicians in their own bill. In Section 74 of their own bill, it does say that this can't be used to, you can't use a digital ID to make people access a service. And then later on in Section 75, subsection 4, it actually says the minister can exempt people from that requirement if it is, wait for it, appropriate to do so. That's it, appropriate to do so. So where is this all headed? You can either trust the politicians that tell you it's voluntary, or you can think back about how you've been treated the last few years by those very politicians. Don't believe a word they say. Oppose this digital ID, oppose this expansion of government oversight. We're a free country and we should remain that way.
Yeah. Jeez. Like, I'll let you go first. You go first.
Well, I love that he was on the ball with the fact check and calling that out. But not only that, drawing the examples to the vaccine mandates, I think that was the best part, because people can resonate with that, and people know what restrictions were implied during that, and that's the exact same thing that's going to happen with this.
Do you think this is what for all the people that are, for example, fearmonger? You know the whole PSYOP thing. What's your thoughts on that? Like, why is this guy like suddenly, want to be the beacon of light in this particular subject?
Well, here's the thing: there are much more smarter people than both of us that know who
That's
these
for sure.
people have voted for. Like I'm sure Canavan, I'm sure Rennick, Malcolm Roberts have voted for things that are not in the ideal world, appeal
That
to
we
what us.
support,
Yeah,
which is like fair enough. That's
yeah.
just
So
human nature.
it's
Like, there's things that we don't agree with as well.
yeah. So it's sort of hard to discern who and what beliefs are going to perfectly align with the world that we want and how we want to see it. But I think he sort of represents views the best way that is available to us, at least at the moment.
Yeah.
There's only maybe 6 or 7 really good senators that actually represent us in the best possible way. But you never know. Matt Canavan come around a couple months from now when the bill gets presented again
And switch.
and then be like, nah, screw it.
And this is what Katie Gallagher had to say. So she said, digital ID is not compulsory. It's voluntary, secure, and convenient way for you to access online services safely without having your personal documents stored by a third party. I'm proud to have introed our digital ID bill this week. This technology will transform our economy. And this is interesting. She's not completely wrong, but they're going to eventually cut out services that you can actually use. for example, in the middle of the pandemic, we were told that MyGov needed to be used by everyone in New South Wales. And if you didn't sign up as a business, you were going to get a 20 grand fine. And they kept pushing businesses to sign up, to sign up, to sign up, to sign up, and link all their systems together. They'll tell you this, but it's also not compulsory or mandatory to do so.
You just can't run a business.
You just can't run a business. Like you'd have to go through all different. They just make things harder and harder and harder, and create a funnel to funnel you in, and then say that you've done it by choice and you weren't rehearsed into doing it. Similar to the vaccines, they were saying you have to get it or else you can't, go to school, you can't go to work, you can't, visit your grandma, you can't go to the hospital, you can't fly. And then they say, no, we're giving you a choice. It's like, well, you put me in a little confined box and you're telling me that I can't do anything unless I do it.
And that's the reason why they do it, because they want to be able to say in the future, say a couple of years after the pandemic, they've all come out and said, we didn't force you.
Yeah.
They try to, act like they weren't complicit in it. However, we already know that they were complicit. We've got all the videos. I've basically hoarded all the videos. So whenever someone comes out and says, hey, we didn't compel you to do it, bang, I've got the video archived, and we can say, we got proof of you doing it.
Yeah.
And the same thing is going to happen with this. They're going to say, we didn't make it compulsory. Say 5, 6, 7, 10 years down the track, all of a sudden we're all scanning QR codes and using a social credit score.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, shit. I thought it wasn't compulsory. And now we're all suckers for the system.
Bro, I remember having to download some app and like use it to get a coffee.
Yeah.
That was outrageous.
Remember the green
like,
what's it called?
And they kept like taking it down, and then people
certificate.
Certificate.
The
And they kept and they kept taking it down, and people had to remake it, recode it.
Yeah,
like with coders and that was like,
there was an app that you could download, and you could just put your name in and it generated and this didn't happen, by the way.
Yeah, 100%.
This is fake news.
Completely true.
It gave you a template of your digital vaccine passport.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. This didn't happen.
It happened. Allegedly. But so these are the senators that voted against an extension to the inquiry into the digital ID bill. And just before you tell me what happened, I want to give you credit. I think you're the only one documenting this like this, and you keep a note, video files of a lot of things that's happened in Australia, and there's no one really documenting it like this. And this is why we can't actually go anywhere else, and we have to come to your Twitter to actually see things, from start to finish of what's going on. So I just want to give you credit on that. But yeah, so these are the senators that voted against it. And so should we be backing these people? And what are your thoughts on this?
So they actually voted against an extension to the inquiry. So I believe it was Malcolm Roberts. He said, hey, we want to delay this being tabled and going through its process of being legislated. He got that obviously voted down, and it was voted down quite overwhelmingly. If you reopen that, it'll show you the names of each senator.
Yep, we're here.
And a lot of them are Greens and Labor. And that's the problem that we have as well in the Senate. We don't have the power to be able to put a stopgap between these things.
What do you mean in the Senate we don't have a power to?
So the Senate, it's all controlled by the independents. You got, I think it's Pocock and what's the other one? Lambie.
Uh-huh.
You've got a couple of the other Greens. I think what's his name? I forgot the other guy's name. But then you've got a majority in the Senate as Labor. So it's all controlled by Labor. It's all controlled by people that actually want to push these legislation. And yeah, the best thing that we can do while Liberal or any other government that comes into power to put a stop to this, the best thing that we can do is to just bring awareness to these things.
And so these given less than 30 minutes to debate it in the Senate. In short, this bill is a precursor to the digital ID bill being passed
Yeah.
into law. So these are the
Yeah, so after the digital ID was presented to the Senate and it
Yeah.
went through, and the extension into the inquiry was denied, this legislation was presented next. And I actually had no idea what this was until I saw Senator Antic talk about it in the Senate. So they had only about a 30-minute window to talk about this. And this is basically the precursor to the digital ID. So they needed to pass this to allow services to be able to adopt the digital ID. So just like the MyGov businesses had to sign up to it first, and then it became adapted to the wider public. The reason why they do that, I think, is because there's mass adoption through businesses at the start. And then once the businesses get sucked into the system, then the people get sucked into the system. So they've done the exact same thing with this. So they've got the verification bill, and it got voted through very seamlessly because they have the balance of power. And yeah, again, unfortunately, because they can do this and just shove this legislation through, the first two steps for the digital ID to get passed have now been taken.
And so we got a few comments here. So there is more than one way to skin a cat. Think out the box. Yep, that's true. That's true. But once they go cashless, we won't really have any other option. Well, there's bitcoins. There's digital coins, digital currency. Russia's been working around the system. I know a girl that lives in Bali. She's an architect. She's Russian, and she gets paid from Russia in Bitcoin, transfers it, and
Into her wallet,
into her crypto wallet, and then transfers it in Bali. So there's different methods, but Australia does seem like it's suffocating every entry point. It does seem like Australia is like the island for the WEF, like a baby child.
We've been saying that for the last 4 years now, that Australia was the
100%.
test case. We are the
100%.
test case. We're an island. We don't have borders per se. One thing I was thinking about yesterday was there's footage of America where you've got people invading the border.
Yeah.
We can't see that here unless we're monitoring airports, basically. So it's completely different in terms of how we can see the actual invasion and see the crisis happening in front of us.
And we're going to get to Palaszczuk, Queensland, and we're going to let you guys know where these politicians that have now resigned or been fired have gone to. We're just getting through a couple more here. We got howdy folks, Mr. T, been forever. How doing, bro? We're doing well. We're just surviving out here, giving information of digital ID and everything that's coming forward. What's been happening in the Senate, the bills that have been passed. We're also going to get into Queensland and the other senators and ministers, and also Prime Minister like Scott Morrison, where they've landed and where they are right now. The best thing we can do is educate ourselves on tax law and spend every waking hour learning how to minimize any and all tax liabilities. Yes, if you earn, 100,000 or more, and you can minimize your earnings down to under $24,000 and pay as minimal tax as you can. That might be buying property, that might be buying assets, doesn't need to be property, and offsetting that. If you can do that and bring your tax bracket down, definitely do that. WEF cyber attack will usher in digital currency. WEF does have the cyber attack. I think it's like Polygon or
Cyber Polygon,
Cyber
yeah. But
Polygon.
we've had like 6 different cyber attacks in the
So
last
far.
couple of years. We've had Medibank, Optus, I think
Major.
Telstra came around and said that we've got some protections. ANZ just the other week.
Yeah.
Um,
ANZ was another one. Westpac, I think, has been the latest one.
yeah, so it's not really the World Economic Forum. We've got all these little in-house ones happening in Australia as we speak.
And this logical observation is correct. So someone put it up the top that her sister or something was going through the comments, said that it's a 20-year plan. And that's right. Like the plan points are 2025, 2030, and the major one being 2050. So this has been in the works for a long time. Awesome Australian versus the agenda. Bitcoin for life, repping Bitcoin. Let's go. I had to show my fake ID to HI management.
What was that about?
The fake
Vaccine passport. Yeah.
passes. Hey, do what you can. You know what? The 5-8 take, Diogo. I encourage you. Go shoplift from Woolworths and Coles. You should
Don't do
see.
that. Don't do that.
You should see all the new Australian invading country areas and travelling across the state borders, all in fairly new cars, a map, and well dressed. That's true. Electric cars, digital cars are a psyop. You're going to get told to download some app, not only for your car to be online 24/7, but also for your charging. Your
See, in
charging.
China, you can't charge your electric car now because your credit score didn't meet the requirement. Yeah, there's a video going around where I think it's a girl. She's got her phone and she's saying, "Oh, my credit score is just good enough to be able to recharge my car."
But we'll get into that the next video, next live. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow. We'll do some more of these lives and pull up some of those videos. Especially, we might even focus one on China and see all the nuts dystopian videos that we can pull up because there's heaps of them. People and businesses need to use privacy coins like Monero, Pirate Chain, and private smart contracts like Dero. The people need to have their own currencies to take power back from the banks. I agree with that. Like, if we could have a currency, well, Bitcoin's like that. Bitcoin is decentralized. I believe the issue with Bitcoin is that there's a limit, but the advantage of Bitcoin is that it's used all across the web, and it's the
There's
infrastructure
been
is
adoption.
there.
There's
Yeah,
been more mass adoption since over the last 10 years.
exactly. Censorship laws so we can't oppose state treachery. Bitcoin is cabal, has no backing, just hype. Now, I've heard this a few times because there's no founder of Bitcoin. Like, it says that it's this Japanese guy, but no one knows if it is actually him.
What's his
Then,
name? Satoshi Nakamoto or
yeah,
something? Yeah.
and there's also talks that Russia actually created Bitcoin as a BRICS move. So I understand where you're coming from, but at this stage, this is the infrastructure. This is um, the. It's hard because the blockchain can be traced. However, Bitcoin, there is ways to go around the tracing. Zionism equals Kazars. Look them up. All right, I'll look up Kazars. You guys can look that up. Never heard of it. You should do this often live streams. Appreciate it, Preston's. We'll try that. Lions FC. Oh, shout outs to Man United. Okay, you know what I mean. Super awesome. Appreciate it. Good form, lads. What else we got here? Don't worry, the movie will end soon. We already won. I believe that. Oh, shout outs to you. All right, let's move on. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. So these are senators that have voted no. So we just went through the senators that have voted yes. these are the senators that you guys should be supporting their choices. So we got Antic from Liberal Party of Australia. We got Babbitt from United Australia Party. We got Canavan, the Nationals. We got Hanson, Pauline Hanson's One Nation. We got Rennick, Liberal Party of Australia. And then we got Roberts, Pauline Hanson's One Nation. So we've got 2 points there for One Nation. I might vote for One Nation in the next election if they keep this up, to be honest with you.
Well, a couple of things. So these are the 6 senators that are basically like almost like the Avengers for us in terms of being able to provide a layer of protection and advocate for us when we need to be advocated for. These are the only 6 senators that I know that are actually standing to all this stuff and actually putting themselves out there and putting content out there, educating people and putting themselves on the line. I think one thing that I want to see more of, and I try to do it as much as possible, is to see as many people. Like we've got 100 people here. I want to see as many of you guys to like share their content, but not only that, support them in the comment section, because a lot of these people, they get slandered and abused by so many different people. And like this is one thing that I've learned over the last couple of years. In America, the Democrats are very, very well prepared. The Labour Party and all of the people that troll and abuse these people, they are very well prepared.
Yes.
When they publish content, they've got groups and community chats where they say, "Hey, let's attack these people."
Yeah.
Because it's all perception. If these people are perceived to look like they're getting made fun of, they're getting abused, they're getting trolled, when the wider public sees that, they're going to be like, "Well, if people think that these people are worthy of getting abused, then you know what? Maybe we don't vote for them. Maybe we don't support them." As soon as these guys post content, support them, share their posts, and then not only that, advocate for them in the comments. When you've got other people abusing them, don't abuse them back, but just be like, "Hey, what are your supporting arguments for that?" Because these people make excellent points.
Yes.
They make some bad points as well, but I would say 95% of the time they make some excellent points. So put yourself out there and actually endorse these people. If you want to endorse them, but even if you don't want to, just be on the lookout for the people that make the points that you do support and support them in the comments, because the opponents of us, they are well organized.
Yeah.
And we got to put our ducks in a row. We've got an opportunity now coming into 2024 where things are going to get really, really weird.
Wow.
Yeah, so we've got to put ourselves in positions to be prepared for this attack, because next year is going to be wild.
And I'm not a massive fan of everyone that's you know saying psyop this, psyop that, and I get that there's all these talks that don't support these people, don't support those people, but then you end up supporting no one. Like it gets to a stage where these world globalists, they've been doing this for so long, so long.
But not only that, they just don't care.
They don't care either.
They are ruthless.
Exactly. So during COVID, when you have all these people coming together, right, and then you have people from left, right, it doesn't matter what spectrum of a political spectrum you sit on. You should be pro-humanity, right? So during the COVID, everyone came together, and then right after that, it's like, let's hit them with Ukraine, let's hit them with more Yemen stuff, let's hit them with the Middle East. Let's hit them with digital ID. Let's hit them with all these different, take out this politician, that politician, create media frenzy here, media frenzy there, and say all these people.
It's designed to confuse you and make you feel overwhelmed. And I think that's the one thing that I put a lot of pride into, is trying to simplify everything. And I said this to you yesterday. The reason why I simplify it is because I need it to be able to make it so I can understand it. Because I'm a dummy. I have no interest in politics whatsoever.
You and me both, bro.
The reason me doing this after COVID is just by pure passion now.
Yeah.
But 4 years ago, I didn't even know what a protest was.
Me neither.
Now I religiously engage in protest. I engage in the protections of freedom of speech, freedom of movement. I advocate for all of these policies, and you wouldn't see this 4 years ago.
No, and that's one thing that they did is that
They woke us up. They
woke
woke
us
up.
up.
Well, they woke this up in me.
Yeah, I hear
The
you.
biggest mistake that they did was wake me up and wake people like us up, because 4 years ago we wouldn't be doing this stuff.
No way. And this is the Australian digital ID costs. So the Albanese Labor government is investing $145.5 million over the next 4 years to support the system and to implement independent regulation and oversight of the system. I remember putting a video out, possibly around July, where it went through the first document of this. And what's interesting is that this isn't even being implemented so much so by the government. They're trying to get a third party to oversee the implementation of this. What government wants a third party, so a party outside its own government, so for example, the WEF, to have an oversight of its digital
I'll
ID?
tell you. So that comment here is actually interesting. That's why I replied to it. So this person said, "Why do these things cost so much money?" And that's exactly right. If I wanted to advocate for digital ID, 95% of the infrastructure is already there. Why do I need to spend another $150 million? That's the reason why. Private contracts. That's what they did with the vaccine passport. Remember when the vaccine
Yeah.
passport came out and Scott Morrison was in charge of that?
Yeah.
What did they do? They had a budget of like some insane tens of millions of dollars, and they gave it to this company, this company, this company, all right, until they found the right person that could actually put together the system that they needed. Because remember, it failed, and then they finally nailed it. But all that money is going to these people, and it's distributed and delegated to the right people where you know that you've got a mate that works there that can be like, "Hey, thanks for the 10 million dollar contract." That's why they're using these obscene amounts of money. The $450 million referendum, I'm sure that it costs a lot of money to run that,
Yeah.
but I don't think it cost 450 million. I think it probably maybe cost, say, 100 million.
Bro, remember when they
And
did
then what happened with the other money?
shit? Remember when they did 25 million for a flagpole?
Exactly.
That's like an Exhibit A. Exhibit A.
Yeah.
So this is Lydia Thorpe Table's UNDRIP,
Yeah.
United Nations Declaration of Rights of Indigenous People in the Senate. Following the show, do you wanna break this down?
Yeah,
Before we
so
go into it?
next topic. So I want to just sort of touch and go over everything that's happened. So now that we've sort of mentioned the voice of parliament, so
Yeah.
in layman's terms, the terms that work best for me, UNDRIP was the sort of follow up to what was going to happen if the voice of parliament failed. So the voice of parliament failed. The UNDRIP was going to be tabled by Lydia Thorpe. She presented it over the last couple of weeks. And we'll go through the sequence of events. So Lydia Thorpe presented it.
Yep.
And she was very well presented in this. But we're going to go down the track and see how things go, because things go down a very funny pathway.
All right, let's go ahead with this one.
Today, an open letter was sent to all members of Parliament calling for the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, the UNDRIP, to be legislated. It states, following the shameful failure of this year's referendum for constitutional recognition that no one wanted and a voice to Parliament that no one wanted, many people are wondering what the pathway forward is for improving the lives of First Peoples. Legislating UNDRIP is an immediate action the Australian government can take to fulfil its promises to strengthen First Peoples' rights, including the right to self-determination and cultural rights. This will have tangible and lasting benefits for First Peoples in this country. This open letter is signed by a range of human rights experts, First Peoples and NGOs, 80 signatories in total, including Les Melzer, who was the chair of the Global Indigenous Caucus when the declaration was adopted by the UN General Assembly, Dr. Cheryl Lightfoot, chair of the UN Expert Mechanism on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. The High Commissioner of India supported us. Professor Chelsea Watego supported us, and Amnesty International. I will also table a petition today with 2,323 signatures calling on the Parliament to legislate UNDRIP. If the government wanted to legislate UNDRIP, they could do it tomorrow with my private senator's bill. Will be debated. Legislating the UNDRIP is not controversial. It sets a minimum standard for First Peoples' rights. And if this government won't support my bill, then at least have the decency to legislate UNDRIP in this term of government and stop being so gammon, Labor. Stop talking about black rights.
Thank you, Senator. Your time's expired.
Yeah.
So this was her just presenting
Yeah.
the idea.
Yeah.
So she presented it to the Senate. She gave her little spiel, and then we'll go to the next tab. This is where things sort of unravel. So the other day she tabled it, and it was to be voted on. Now, as you can see, it got absolutely destroyed in the Senate. Let's watch this first,
And then
because
discuss it.
there's a funny reaction in this, and then we'll talk about it, and we'll talk about who voted and what we think about who voted as well, because it's hilarious.
All right, let's get into it.
Now, the question is that the motion moved by Senator Thorpe be agreed to. The ayes shall pass to the right of the chair, the noes to the left of the chair. I appoint Senator Thorpe to tell it for the ayes, Senator Scarr to tell it for the noes. Thorpe to tell it for the ayes, Senator Scarr to tell it for the noes. Order. The result of the divisions is ayes 10, noes 27. The question is resolved in the negative. And I'll allow senators who are not participating in the next part before I move on to consideration of government business. Okay. Now, the question is that the motion moved by Senator Thorpe be agreed to. The ayes shall pass to the right of the chair, the noes to the left of the chair. I appoint Senator Thorpe to tell it for the ayes, Senator Scarr to tell it for the noes. The ayes shall pass to the right of the chair, the noes to the left.
She's very staunch in how she walks.
Order. The result.
Yeah,
of
so
the
let's listen
divisions
to
is
this one more
ayes
time, because it's
10,
hilarious.
Noes 27. The question is resolved in the negative. And I'll allow senators who are not participating in the next part before I move on to consideration of government business.
When I heard this,
Okay.
I couldn't believe it.
And like, she is a piece of work, eh? Like, let's be honest, like, imagine dating that woman.
Well, her father came out and said that he reckons that she's a racist prick.
Yeah, didn't he? Because he's white, yeah?
Yeah.
And he come out and then he was saying that she was racist against Aboriginals and
Just everyone.
just everyone. And then he was saying that she's like suddenly disowned them and like has tripped out.
Yeah, well, like we were saying at the start, how long can you alienate the people that you're supposed to represent, and then alienate your own family? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How long can you do that before they finally wake up to your bullshit and be like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm going on Sky News and I'm going to rip into you for 10 minutes. Because that's what he did.
Yeah, and it'll take a lot for your family member to go and just, destroy her like that. And her outside of that club on her birthday, when she was just like going off and being like, you white dog and all of this stuff. It's just like, it doesn't represent what a senator should be. You know what I mean? It doesn't like, to me, back in the day when I was younger, I'd look at these politicians, and this is probably why I didn't, engage in politics. I just felt like these are just like older suit and tie,
polished
like they
people,
know what they're
cup
doing.
of tea.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, I'm an idiot. I
Yeah,
don't know what I'm doing. Like
yeah.
they definitely know more than me. But then I see her, and I'm
It
like,
brings the bar down to like here.
completely down. She's a 3 a.m. chick at a
She's
house
hanging out
party.
outside strip clubs.
Yeah.
She's getting into fights with security outside strip clubs at 4 a.m. I haven't done that in about 7 years.
It's amazing. She's definitely on the nose beers for sure. But it's good that 27 voted no.
Yeah, so it was a slam dunk. And if we go to the next tab, you'll actually be able to see who voted yes and who voted no. So these are the only people that voted yes, which was surprising.
So we've got the Australian Greens, all man pain. We've got Australian Greens again, Hanson Young. We got Australian
World
Greens
Economic
again.
Hanson
McKin.
Young.
Oh, is Hanson Young World Economic
Yeah.
Forum?
So she's a young global leader.
Of course she is. We've got a lot of Australian Greens, really. Pocock. We got Australian Greens. Australian
And that's
Greens.
the female Pocock. So there's two Pococks.
Wish Wilson. I knew a guy called Wish Wilson. And then we got, Thorpe and Pocock, who's both independent. So those are the two Pococks, and they're related or not?
I'm not sure, but I know that David Pocock is apparently like an ex-rugby player, because I saw comments on my post that people were saying like he had a few too many smacks to the head.
Yeah, it's low key. Like Barbara Pocock looks like David Pocock with the wig. I don't know, just putting that out there.
And then these are the ones that voted no.
These are the legends. Well, not legends, but these are the ones that voted no.
Yeah, so by the way, a lot of the comments on this post that I put out everywhere, people were saying like, good on them for voting no. No, not good on them, because they voted no for UNDRIP, but then they voted yes for the verification identity bill. No. No, not good on them.
Straight up. This is true. And this is the intertwining web that they use.
So they sold her out to sell us out.
Yeah. And then so Lydia Thorpe, this is her discussion again.
Yeah, so
this one's a little longer, so bear with us.
We'll go through this quickly. But we've got her walking into the Senate at the start of the week, really excited to present this, being like, you know what? The voice to Parliament failed.
A dog on heat.
And then, all right, let's present my UNDRIP. I'm nice and happy. I'm going to present this. Let's go.
Yep.
It goes to a vote. It gets destroyed overwhelmingly. The people that she thought would say yes, all said no.
She lost her treats.
Yeah. This was maybe 4, 5, 6 hours later in the Senate, because the Senate, by the way, is like a 13-hour thing. They started like 9 a.m. and they don't stop until 8, 9 p.m. It's insane. But yeah, you can see that she's quite disheveled and she gets a bit upset.
My private senator's bill to establish a legislative pathway to implement the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, the UNDRIP. Is the government committed to enshrine the UNDRIP into Australian law at a later stage, maybe?
Thank you, Senator Thorpe. Senator Thorpe, before I come to you, you don't need to wave your arms around. Senator Thorpe, you're not in a debate with me, Senator Thorpe.
Thank you, President. Relevance is my point of order. It's not a speech, a farewell speech. It's basically a question about do you...
Yes, Senator Thorpe, you don't need
I don't need a speech, a farewell speech. I heard that the other day.
Senator Thorpe, please resume your seat. The Minister is referring to the report which was released last week, which is going to the matters that you referred to. Minister Watt, so the Minister is being relevant. Minister Watt, please continue. Senator Thorpe.
And of order, relevance. Once again, it was my inquiry. I was there for the inquiry. My bill My question to
Senator
the point
Senator
is,
Thorpe.
when is
Senator
the government
Thorpe,
going to enshrine our
Thorpe,
rights in this
Senator
country?
Thorpe, resume your seat. Resume your seat. You've made your point of order. Senator Thorpe, you are directing your response to me. Senator Thorpe, if senators are out of order, I will call them to order. Minister Watt, I draw you back to the question, and Senator Thorpe, the minister's indicated to me he's concluded his answer. So I'm asking you to put your first supplementary, please.
With all due respect, President, in terms of process, I was standing.
Senator Thorpe, please resume your seat. Senator Thorpe, I am managing the chamber. Senator Thorpe, Senator Hanson, resume your seat. Senator Thorpe, withdraw that comment. I'm asking you to stand and withdraw that comment. Senator Thorpe, I'm asking you to withdraw that comment.
Due to the colonial powers and oppression, I withdraw the comment.
Senator Thorpe, that's not acceptable. I would ask you simply to withdraw the comment.
I simply withdraw the comment.
Thank you, Senator Thorpe. Senator Hanson, were you standing? Thank you.
Oh, this is so
I would
funny.
ask all senators, every senator in this place has the right to ask their question, and they need to be heard in silence, and they need to be heard with respect. That goes for every single person in this place. Senator Thorpe, the minister had indicated you can't call a point of order once the minister has concluded. I'm inviting you to make your first supplementary.
Thanks, President. Given there is no legislative commitment, can you please outline the pathway through which the government intends to implement UNDRIP fully?
Thank you, Senator Thorpe. Minister Watt. Senator Thorpe's second supplementary.
Thank you. The government recommended the development of a national action plan to implement the UNDRIP in the recent committee report. Will the government progress the development of such a national action plan in this term of government?
Thank you, Senator Thorpe. Minister Watt.
Bro, she was just getting destroyed the entire time. She was getting destroyed.
So that's why I wanted to go through this journey, because if we get our ducks in a row,
Yeah.
we can put these people down the path that they don't want to go to.
Yeah.
Because they're already putting us down a path that we don't want to go to.
Yeah.
And this is why I wanted to illustrate this and really watch everything properly, because she walked into the chamber, she was so happy.
Yeah.
But not only that, before, remember the Voice of Parliament? She was in the ABC studios when it got voted down. And she was like, beautiful, it got voted down. I'm going to present UNDRIP.
Yeah.
And then she tables it. She's
Please
very
outline
happy.
the
She's
pathway
excited.
through which the
And then it
government
gets
intends.
voted down. She's upset. And then 7 or 8 hours later in the Senate, she's having a massive tantrum. But throughout that process, we all did these little things to make sure that this would happen.
Yeah.
We all campaigned heavily to make sure that this
100%.
the thing would get voted down in the referendum. And then we made sure that this got voted down. Now, this could have easily
We won. We won.
This could have easily taken a 30, I think it was what, 27-10 the other way. Yes,
Yeah.
could have won.
Yeah, true.
Because it
You
was
ain't
in
wrong.
the hands of Labor.
Yeah.
But I think the social commentary behind it and all the things that we did behind the scenes
Yeah.
with the Voice of Parliament and now with UNDRIP, we got the result that we wanted.
Exactly.
So again, we need to do everything, get our ducks in a row to be able to make sure that the next couple of things that we need to worry about, we do the exact same thing. We do this with the digital ID bill, and we do the same thing with the misinformation bill, which we'll touch on.
Yeah. And we're about to thank you so much for sharing the stream. Thank you for commenting. We'll pull up some of the comments now. Thank you for liking. We've gone through chronological order, and we're about to get to the pandemic leaders who's still in office, and we'll touch that on a second. We'll just go through some comments to get some feedback so they came across from. They came from across the pond and got rid of the people who were here before them. Pennywise, this is you guys, chatting with each other. She reads it like a parliamentary school teacher at story time, then goes psycho
On
when
the
the
bottom
house.
Beautiful.
Ah! Oh, too good. She could talk underwater with a mouthful of marbles. I still remember her crawling around on the ground and horrible sight. Bro, yeah, I remember that as well. What have we got? Chlamydia is like a panto villain. What?
Run.
Yes.
There you go.
Christ is God. Let's go. Shout out to Ron Nielsen. When we have giveaways for comments like that, I will send you something, my brother. Christ is God. Let's move on. She still have the biker boyfriend. That's another thing. She had that bikey boyfriend. He was leader. Yeah, he was leader of a thing. But
Are they still together?
Nah, they broke up. That's why she got kicked out of the Greens.
Oh, okay.
That story broke, and then she got kicked out, and then she's independent. The birthday of the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Let's go. TJM Farming. When we have gifts, I will send you a shirt or something. Question. I've just come into the chat. Can you bring me up to speed, please? Give a quick synopsis of what we've done so far.
Yeah, so we're just sort of piloting what we're doing on live, but basically we've just sort of gone over the last few months. We've gone through the digital ID bill being presented in the Senate. We've gone through the UNDRIP bill being destroyed in the Senate. Now we're going to touch on the last couple of things, the misinformation bill. But before that, we're going to go through what is it? We've got the COVID pandemic leaders. So they've all basically resigned or been voted out now, minus Andrew Barr from the ACT. And we're just going to sort of touch on the Queensland Premier.
It's a big club. We are not in it. But to be honest with you, I prefer this club.
Yeah.
You know what? I prefer this club. Chilling with you guys and letting you guys know what's going on. So let's touch base on these pandemic leaders. So who's still in office? We got Scott Morrison, gone. Andrews, gone. Palaszczuk, gone. Berejiklian, gone. Even that guy there, he should be in there too. What's his name? Dominic Perrottet, gone. McGowan, gone. Marshall, gone. Gutwin, gone. Barr, fuck yourself. Gruner, gone. We're almost there. We got Barr left. That's the ACT leader.
ACT, yeah. So it's funny because we had the ACT vote yes on the Voice of Parliament, and he's still around. Everyone else that voted no, all of their respective leaders are now gone.
Interesting. And we got the pandemic ministers, leaders in Australia. Bro, again, you putting all of this together. Fair play, mate. Fair play. So we got all of these who is currently in office. So go to Australian versus the Agenda on Twitter and you'll be able to see these guys and who are currently in office. That New South Wales police chief was a fat pig, wasn't he? Look at him.
Yeah, so he was the one that came out every day with
yeah,
Gladys, and he was very happy to say that we've issued 150 different fines, 120 different fines, 50 different fines. But I made a video, and the video on YouTube, if you find it, it's called "What Happened." What happened? New South Wales Police. I reckon we bring that video up because I clipped him saying that you've got 100 and X amount of fines, X amount of fines, X amount of fines, and then all of a sudden there's a guy that comes out and says we've got to get rid of him. Here we go. got the video.
106 infringement notices issued in the last 24 hours, 335 penalty infringement notices issued in the last 24 hours, 162 personal infringement notices issued in the last 24 hours, 75 infringement notices issued in the last 24 hours, 681 penalty infringement notices issued in the last 24 hours.
I am withdrawing all the
He's like, what I also don't understand. See, another perfect video, bro. So, like clipping all of that together. And what I really don't understand is how can police be allowed to just be like this? Like, take care of your physical. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, in Victoria, they've just dropped the
to get into the
prerequisites to
police.
get into the police force again.
Yeah. So they've lowered the bar, and now they're lowering the bar again because, you know, a lot of people is leaving the police force, and
that's just going to impact us.
Yeah.
We thought the police were shit during COVID.
Yeah.
Imagine the people that they're bringing in now. We're screwed.
It's just a mess. So these are the ministers who are still around and gone. I thought that guy Hazard would never leave.
Yeah,
He was a tyrant, bro.
So he did a 9 News exclusive interview, and he came out and said that he felt threatened when someone wrote on the front of his house, what was it? I think it was like traitor or something. So someone found his house and like, hey, we know where you live now, and they put a message out there.
Hey, the message accurate. The message accurate. That's all I'm going to say on that. And here's what we wanted to get to. So where are they now? So we got Scott Morrison, the Prime Minister at the time of the pandemic. What I found interesting about Scott Morrison, actually, that's another World Economic Forum puppet, is that what I didn't know is that the federal government doesn't seem to have that much power.
Yeah, I learned that as well. I feel like, what's his name? Daniel Andrews and Gladys Berejiklian really showed Australians that the premiers are the ones that actually have
the
stronghold of power in the country. Because all Scott Morrison really did was he controlled the borders, he controlled the nursing homes, and that was basically it. And then he imported the vaccines. He'd signed the deals.
Yeah, and there's two. I think there's a rural region in Northern Territory, and there's ACT, and not even ACT. There's a couple of regions that the federal government actually control, and they weren't locked down at all. So it was very interesting. And Scott Morrison actually won the popular vote. He lost when it came to the seats, which I found also interesting. So he's now backbench of Parliament.
Yeah, and he's probably going to retire. He'll sort of, go into the sunset and leave us alone. But,
he'll probably go play his acoustic guitar in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Daniel Andrews, the absolute filth scum of the earth. This guy is just putrid. So is he actually podcasting?
Nah, so he was on a podcast. So,
Gotcha.
He was on a podcast, something Democratic podcast, and he was just talking about everything that happened over the last 9 years of his premiership. It was quite cynical about the people that were against him. And yeah, but like I just said it was podcasting because that's the last thing they did very recently.
Yeah, fair enough. And he was golfing. He gets kicked out of all the golfing places. Apparently, he touched on that on the podcast. Is that right?
Yeah, he said that I don't have trouble getting into any.
He definitely
clubs,
does.
But I know the media is saying otherwise. I really don't give a shit.
We're going to get into Palaszczuk. Berejiklian, she's gone Optus executive. She's got a very cushy job, paying very well. ever since she's been there, Optus has had nothing but issues.
Problems.
And I do think she might take the helm of Optus eventually.
CEO.
That
Well, now it's
was the
vacant.
discussion. Yeah, that was the discussion. So if Berejiklian is at the helm of Optus, leave Optus. Dominic Perrottet, yeah, his dad is part of the World Bank. So you know, he was one of the youngest ever premiers of New South Wales. He was put in there because of his family and the ties to the World Bank. His father's very, very high up. Now he's retired
chilling.
and just going around the world. The last thing, I think he was at ARC in London.
Oh yeah, he did an interview with Avi.
Yep.
Yep.
And so that's the last thing that we've seen of him. Mark McGowan, so he's a consultant for BHP and Co. WA leader. WA is always going to be Labor. WA's got a very good surplus of cash. They're one of the only states that really aren't in horrible debt. And obviously, it was just a clear pathway that he'd go to the mining giants. And what was interesting about Mark McGowan is that during the pandemic, when everything was locked down, WA actually let one of the Chinese diplomat fly in to WA and stay there with the people. And then suddenly they got, you know, after that, they got all this, they got coronavirus, and then they did their lockdown for like 2 weeks, and it wasn't even a lockdown because WA people don't lock down like that. We got Stephen Marshall, board of US Defense Company.
Yeah, so I actually had no idea what he was doing, so I looked that up. It's an interesting thing because I think it's the Australian arm of that company.
Yeah,
like
right.
it's Australian Defense,
Okay.
but it's a US company. Does that make sense? So it's a US company, but they are legislated to also give out arms for Australian defense.
Yeah, right. I didn't even know he was in like deep in the army like that. But okay. All right.
Well, he's the SA Premier, and that's where they're docking those nuclear submarines. So, you know what I mean?
True. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's a little bit of a ecosystem.
Yeah. Peter Gutwin, chairman of
Tasmania.
Migrant Resource Centre. Andrew Barr, still serving as Chief Minister of ACT. So he's the last one remaining. If you're in the ACT, what are you doing? What are you doing? You know what I mean? Like,
Let's get
look
him out.
at yourself in the mirror today and say, what am I doing?
When's the next ACT election?
Yeah, look that up. Let's see when that is. We'll look up what the ACT election is, and we'll give you a date for action. All right, ACT, stop fucking around. Michael Gunner, lead in.
It's 1 week before Queensland.
Okay, when's that?
So this is the 19th of October, and then 1 week later is Queensland. So we could get Andrew Barr out. Quite honestly, I don't even know why at this point, because a lot of people were defending him in my comments.
Right.
They were like, of all the people on this list, Andrew Barr was the nice guy.
Was he?
Yeah, apparently. Like, I had people say, you know, apparently he's a gay guy, so apparently people were thinking that he was a bit more empathetic to the community.
You guys like Andrew Barr?
But in my humble opinion, I think we should knock down that last pin.
Yeah, I reckon just for us to just to get a W,
Yeah.
just give us a dub. You know what I mean? Give us a dub. So is that 2024?
October 2024. Yeah.
October 24. All right. Pin this stream. 2024, October 24. We will get Andrew Barr out of his leadership in Queensland. Pin this stream.
ACT.
Sorry, ACT. You're right. Pin this stream. 2024, October 24. Andrew Barr will exit leadership in ACT. Pack your bags now, mate. Start talking to Telstra or something. All right. And just before we move on to Palaszczuk and her resignation, let's get into some comments here. All right. So I'm surprised Dan is still in Victoria or even Australia. What's your thoughts? You moved out of Melbourne.
Yeah,
This was your leader.
Yeah, I didn't know who the premier was until COVID started. Now I know all these people by their first and last name. But yeah, what? So I'm surprised that he's still in Victoria or even Australia. Well, I've heard that apparently he's got like a really nice property in the Mornington Peninsula, which is basically, the equivalent, would say maybe Bondi.
Yeah.
So he's got like a really nice real estate profile or portfolio in Victoria. It's probably why he doesn't want to leave, especially during summer.
Yeah, and I'd say he's most protected in Victoria.
Yeah, and he's probably got a really good relationship with Shane Patton.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that he'll have some, deal where he's got private security or police to walk around with him.
Yeah. Sorry, he touched up someone's daughter. Did he really? I wouldn't pass that, that.
Oh, that was that whole scandal with the
This is actually a
what was that guy? The whole thing about there was a scandal that wasn't proven, maybe not, at the Peninsula House. There was another Australian magnate. What was his name? Someone comment his name.
You digital ether, you will own nothing and be happy. Yeah, I think we touched on this topic a lot. At this stage, Bitcoin is the only option. It's the only option. Go and
There we go.
make
Lindsay
some money.
Fox.
Huh?
Lindsay Fox. So it was Lindsay Fox.
Oh,
Apparently
legend.
they were at a party, and then there was a bit of a scuffle there, and that was
Interesting.
and that's what they said. They said that him falling down the stairs was the cover story. Remember that?
Yeah.
All this happened a long time ago. It feels like now.
And he broke his back.
Yeah, he screwed his back up and everything, and he took like 3 months to recover, and then he came back and he made that video saying, "Hey, I'm all good now," with his wife.
All right, what else we got here? Gunner looks pure cuckoo's nest. Cuckoo's nest, lol. What else we got? We're just going down, so whatever pops up, pops up. If we don't take back the government, you'll all be in digital prisons. How do we take back government? That is the question. So, for example, we will get bar out next year. Pin the stream. Pin this stream. What was that? That's an attack if I ever seen one. But
Cyber attack.
you know what? We're speaking the truth. Thank you so much for coming on this journey with us. Now you're back. Thank you. Sweet. We're back. All right. They don't like streams. Explain how all viruses are fraudulent. We might do this next one. They shut us down. What's happening? We just got completely taken off the platform. So luckily we're able to log straight back in. The entire laptop shut down. Didn't really make sense. Grand juries, they are coming for your car and insurance. Insider speaks out. We will talk about electric cars. We touched base on that. Just before we end stream, loud and clear.
Sweet.
Yes, awesome. Good to see that we are back. Thank you for bearing with us. That is the powers to be saying you tell misinformation.
We're just reading the government information. So if
Literally.
that's so bad, then I don't know what we can do.
Isn't that wild that if you post some of the government stuff, that it's misinformation?
Well, that's what happened when I posted that reel. I posted a reel of all of the things that the politicians said leading up to the Voice to Parliament.
Yeah.
It got taken down straight away. I don't know why.
It's absolutely outrageous. So we are just going to finish off with a couple of things. Here we go. Okay, so the last topic is, without a doubt, this absolutely porcupine. Palaszczuk. To be honest with you, she, you know, she put some makeup. You know,
Yeah.
she's got her hair blonde now. Isn't this another one where her family is like big pharma?
Yeah, so her dad has ties with that PCR company in China
Yeah.
that was involved in the collection of the actual DNA sample.
Yes, that's what it was. She was actually the only state leader, apart from Dominic Perrottet being tied to the World Bank, that her father was directly tied to Big Pharma, which was quite
Well,
interesting.
not only that, actually, her at the time, her chief health officer, Jeanette Young, who's now the governor of Queensland,
Yep.
she and her husband, I think, have ties with Big Pharma as well. So a lot of these people, like just like in America, you've got Nancy Pelosi, her salary says $100,000, then her net worth is 50 million. Where'd all this money come from? Same thing with these people. I'm sure Palaszczuk cut a really nice deal for those PCR tests.
All right, let's get right into it. And before we get into it, praise the Lord Jesus Christ. It's all your King James Version. Read your Bible. And it's already 1984. We are here, baby. Let's go.
I have given it my all and I've run a marathon. Standing here today with these flags alongside and standing up for the people of Queensland has been an honour of my life. I don't believe anyone who comes after me will know how humbling it is. To travel this state and meet so many amazing people. I will finish this week, at the end of this week, as Premier, and the next Premier of Queensland is for caucus to decide on Friday, giving MPs time to come back and see if Queensland will have their say.
You know what's funny? Not one tear came out of her eyes.
But now is the time for me to find out what else life has to offer.
Life is good. Life is so damn good. I mean.
Oh, bro. Not one tear. She did not shed one tear. Not one tear.
And there's a close-up photo of her wiping her eyes, and it looks like she's given the finger. It's sort of like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
What a, like, good riddance. They're all pretty much out. We just have one more. The main thing that you should take out of this stream is that ACT leader will leave in 2024, October 24.
But unfortunately, if you go to the next tab, breaking news from this morning. As soon as one's out,
another one returns. Breaking, Stephen Miles is a new Queensland Premier.
Yeah.
Outrageous. Just outrageous. Yeah, just one idiot to the next, right? So I did see comments. We're just going to finish off with the comments. I'm glad you guys have liked the stream. We have tried to put all the digital ID, the UNDRIP, where the premiers and prime minister has gone now, where his job positions is. We've gone through the Palaszczuk and Queensland, and we try to put this all into chronological order. If you enjoyed this stream, let us know. I think in terms of people updating Australian news like this, there aren't many out there. If you're able to do it, go ahead and do it. The more the merrier. We're not here trying to say.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's actually a brilliant thing. I'm not trying to gatekeep, and you're not trying to gatekeep doing this shit.
Nah.
People say, how can I help? put the message out there. Either
Clip this. Clip it.
either reshare what we put out, but do what I did. I think is probably the better idea. Do what I did. Figure out a way to articulate the information that best works in your mind, and then distribute it out there. Put it out there in social media, and then tell people about it as well. Because the thing that worked for me was I figured out the best way for me to consume the information. And then once I was able to understand it, I was able to distribute it.
Yeah. And that's like, honestly, so if you guys can do that, go ahead. 100% go ahead. We need more people doing this. Whoever's telling you that, look, only listen to us in this landscape, don't listen to them. That's a big takeaway. So I'm glad you guys enjoyed this stream. We'll just finish with a few more comments. Is that her punishment? Resignation leading to a high-paid job. This is one thing that needs to be completely destroyed in politics. There's two things in Australian politics that I believe personally should just completely not happen. One is these politicians that create laws that benefit these big companies and then them going to get jobs at these big companies, and also parliamentary privilege. Parliamentary privilege is something that should not exist. Parliamentary privilege essentially allows politicians to get up and lie. They're allowed to completely lie and get away with it. Parliamentary privilege should not be legal. If you go up and say lies as a politician to convince to pass something, that should be illegal. So these are two things that I believe shouldn't happen. And I completely agree with you. Her punishment being residing and getting a high-paid job should not be a thing.
But we'll keep an eye on it. I'll keep that list updated. So
yeah,
if an article comes out 6 months from now, she's got a job at a I don't know what resource are they rich in Queensland?
They're rich in cocaine on Friday nights.
So if we find her in a black Mercedes-Benz C63, snorting.
We'll have the images for you.
Yeah, where we'll
100%, 100%.
But we'll keep tabs on her.
Yeah. And completely, especially if they destroyed lives, they should not be able to go to these high-paying jobs. I also don't think that these politicians should be earning like 500Ks and
coal. So she'll be working for a coal company.
Yeah, that's right. Coal is a big thing in Queensland. All right, guys, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Like, comment, share the content, clip parts that you find interesting, just plastered out there. If you see, any of us, I think I called some people fat pigs. Go share that. You know what? Go share particular details. We were quite detailed in this live stream as well. So grab those clips and share it out. Thank you so much for being here, and peace, love, unity, back each other. Christ is God. One more time. Christ is God. Don't forget it.